one night there were two beings out there. He was recording it, and he's like, "What the?" And like he's zooming in, and all of a sudden the two beings put up their arms like bats. Like then the last time they showed up was Halloween night, because remember this started on October 13th. He's like at home, and he gets this like ding dong. He goes to the door with a sword, and he had me like on his like Skype camera or something, you know. And he opens the door, and there's Tickle Me Elmo sitting out.
What? That's so crazy.
Oh, what the f are you guys even talking about?
Global controls will have to be imposed, and a world governing body will be created to enforce them.
Welcome to Tinfoil Hat. We go deep, homeboy. Aaron, open your mind. Drink from the fountain of knowledge. There's lizard people everywhere. That's some interdimensional shit. Wake up, Aaron.
This is only the beginning.
Dude, you just blew my mind.
Are you ready to get your mind blown?
Revolution will be podcasted.
All right, welcome to Tinfoil Hat, live from the Wise Wolf Gold and Silver Studios. That's right, Wolfpack Gold. Just go to samtripoli.gold and use the promo code Tinfoil, and you too can get on the Precious Metals game for as little as $50 a month, sent right to your house. I do it every month, and I'm just stacking precious metals. Very excited to have our returning guest, our returning champion. He's got a lot of stuff going on. He's incredibly handsome. This episode's for the ladies. And he's working on a new doc we're excited to hear about. Please welcome the powerful Sean Stone. How are you, brother?
I'm well. It's been a minute.
I like your style, buddy. You are just pure class. I love it, dude. It's been a while. What's new? I've seen you were just on Tucker, crushing it. Like you're doing the big shows. Life is going good, dude.
You know, life takes its turns, and I was lucky enough to connect with Tucker. A couple of years ago, I put out a docuseries on Tucker Carlson's network called All the President's Men. And that was, 6 parts? We dove into the Russiagate scandal, right? Focusing on the characters like George Papadopoulos, Roger Stone, General Flynn, Kash Patel, Giuliani, Tucker, people that had either been persecuted during the Russiagate or were real observers of that operation, essentially, right? That led to the first and the second impeachment of Trump, and even I would say the election interference in 2020. And yeah, so Tucker and I connected then, and it was, he's a character. I love his, his authenticity, which is so rare, as when it comes to the media space, right? I feel like most people in that space are, you could say bought, corrupted, biased. They have their agenda. And what I appreciate about Tucker is like he really does seem to like shift his perspectives because he's willing to listen, right, and adapt, and actually like change and not just be like a talking head. So it's been great to know him. And yeah, we got a chance to do an interview, as you know, for a couple hours. We went through a whole history on the esoteric stuff.
Yeah, that's great, dude. It's good to see. I think it's important that people are allowed to move to get new data and have a new perspective. I think if you do a snapshot of anybody when they're younger, no matter how much younger, it's kind of does a disservice to your journey in your life. You get new data, you get a new perspective, and it's okay to be able to change your point of view and your belief system. Sean, for those who may not know who you are, and they would be crazy people, but for those who don't, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and where our listeners can find you?
Yeah, that's a good place to start, I guess. I started acting as a kid before I was even conscious. I was 6 months old on Salvador, the year and a half, 2 years on Wall Street. And then from there it was like JFK, The Doors, Natural Born Killers. I had little, cameo roles.
Well, that's great.
So I was growing up, on movie sets, but also in the suburban life, of Santa Monica, Brentwood, like West LA. So I got a chance to see both, I think, multiple worlds, because we traveled a lot as a kid as well, like traveling to foreign countries from, East Asia, Africa, all over Europe, the Middle East. It was like it was an amazing experience to have that contrast. And so I started doing my own films at 18, 19. I started directing behind the scenes on Alexander, my dad's movie. So I took a semester from college. I made the behind the scenes on that epic about Alexander the Great. Went back, finished college, did my thesis work on the New World Order. So that senior thesis at college became a book, and 10 years later, and then I just kind of dabbled, not because I dabbled, but I experienced and tried different things. I was working as an editor with my father. I went to do my first film by breaking into a haunted, abandoned mental hospital and just having this crazy experience. And I decided, let me turn this into a movie, and that was called Greystone Park. And that led me to then doing a conspiracy theory show with Jesse Ventura, where we interviewed people about the reptilian conspiracy, about time travel, about free energy, and also directed energy weapons. A whole host of cool topics. And that led then to me doing interview programs for a show called Buzzsaw that ended up on Gaia. And I also ended up doing a news program with my co-hosts from Buzzsaw for Russia Today called Watching the Hawks. So I worked for RT America for like 5 years, did like a whole number of documentaries with them. And then COVID came, I left RT, and I just, I ended up doing other documentaries on my own, poetry book, offering, one-on-one sessions. So it's like consultation sessions. So it's like I've just, I work in different fields, I feel, I'm an explorer.
You brought up RT News. It's a very interesting thing. And, I don't want to get too far off the path, but this like notion that working for RT News is this kind of treacherous thing. It's interesting to me because I have a couple friends that that have worked at RT News, and they always get back to me. And when we talk about it, they're like, I've never got one note. They never told me what I could say, what I couldn't say. And the way people I remember someone called Lee Camp a traitor, and I was like, what is he a traitor for? He's like, he's working for the Russian. I go, dude, every other country, whether it's Qatar, Israel, whoever you want to say, is funding somebody saying something. And then the opposite, the opposite of that is the U.S. government funding, the Operation Mockingbird. So it's like, it's very. It was always really crazy to me. Ben Swan's on. Is Ben Swan on? No, I don't even know if RT is still.
Ben Swan was RT. He was RT before I got there, I believe, and then he transitioned out. Abby Martin was there before I got there.
Abby's great.
When I was there, it was Jesse Ventura, Chris Hedges, Larry King, the famous CNN guy, for whatever 30 years.
Larry King, live from Hollywood.
Right. I mean, Larry King is a legend. Before he passed away, he was RT America. We had a number of people that were, had been, Chris Hedges is a Pulitzer Prize winner. These were good journalists. And I felt, what I felt when I was at RT was that we were serving a role that now the podcast community is serving more of, where we were alternative to the mainstream, because we did not have, the media basically is biased, right? Like most journalists have bias. It's very rare to find anybody that's going to be like a real journalist that doesn't have bias. So when you come into the field of journalism, you're looking at it like, okay, CNN is left, Fox News is right. And then over time, a lot of those ones that used to be more maybe right or whatnot, like MSNBC or whatnot, like a lot of them shifted more left. But you look at the whole situation, and it's like every outlet is going to have its bias, left leaning, Democrat leaning, or right leaning, right? And so, that's why I mentioned Tucker. It's like, to have someone that's just genuinely curious, and willing to like do stuff that can be like not necessarily in convention with Fox News. That's rare. That's what Tucker was willing to do. That's what we had the ability, the freedom to do at RT, was we were not controlled by a corporation that was American, right? So we could literally challenge the Democrats, we could challenge Republicans. When, the crazy part of the Russiagate conspiracy, I knew it was fake when 2015, 2016 happens, and they turn around and they give that report. Remember, right after Trump won the presidency, the intel community basically gives a report saying that the Russians interfered in the election. And the first thing that they pointed to, the majority thing they could point to, was RT America. And they were like, RT America had shows, criticizing Clinton. And it's like, yeah, we definitely had shows criticizing Clinton. We also had people that criticized Trump. I mean, we were definitely, like, if you look at most of the people there, like Tom Hartman and others, they definitely weren't Trump supporters, But the point is that, we were able to criticize both, all wings, let's say, of the bird, the military industrial complex, the medical complex. I mean, criticized everybody. And because of that, we were a threat. And so, of course, they're going to say, well, you're being paid by the Russians. I'm like, listen, I don't care who's paying me if that's not affecting my bias. My bias is that I want to criticize the government. That's my perspective, right? That's my bias. My bias is always going to be skeptical of power. So I don't care who's paying me, as long as I get to do that inquiry, basically. And as I said, I didn't feel that any of us were compromised in any way, by a Russian narrative. The only thing we could say, that you could say is correct. Yeah, we did not criticize Russia. That's fair. Like, I don't think that I didn't feel that was a responsibility, though, because we didn't live in Russia. We lived in America. We're Americans. So we felt, our responsibility was to criticize and watchdog our own government, and whatever happens in Russia, that's for them to figure out.
Yeah, I would agree with that too. And the Russia criticism was happening from the American news. So it's like, your job is to do the news that they're not telling you. So why would you do the same thing as what American news was doing? And it was just super interesting, that whole thing, man. What a crazy time that was. What a crazy time that Russiagate was. I mean, and since then, it's been nothing but crazy. I want to ask you something. When did you realize who your dad was? When did you realize that your dad was just not another dad at school, but like...
I was about to say, who did I realize my dad was? Well, I mean, I assumed he was my father. When
I know. Yeah, I get that. Hey, that's my dad.
Sometimes you realize years later, oh shit, that's not my dad.
That does happen. It's called Jerry Springer. But
in my case, I felt like I looked enough like him that I was like, I'm not worried about that aspect.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, there's different aspects to people. I mean, it's like, I would say that that's an interesting question, because psychologically, to me, that there's dimensions to people that we find out through the course of our lives. You take, for example, like someone that finds out that their father let's say was like, a killer, or a pedophile or something like that. Like you go through realizations of people, like what their darkness is. And so psychologically, when you say like realizing who your father is, it's like, to me, it's asking psychologically, how did I discover who my father is over the course of my life? And, the person that I knew as a kid, that was very like domineering and almost like overbearing in some ways, not the most patient person. But I also realized, I think at like 4, I remember like being struck right after he won the Oscar for Born on the 4th of July, which was 89, 90 basically. So I was like 5 years old, and I remember like being at school, like he just won the Oscar, and I was like, oh, my father's famous, and I was like starting to click in my head, like, oh, these people like that I've been engaging with as a kid, like Michael Douglas and, Val Kilmer and Tom Cruise and Charlie Sheen, like they're famous, like there was like this realization of like an other world out there, right? That's red carpets and celebrity culture, people like having a real, fixation on celebrity, that when you're before that, you just see the work, or you see the people as humans. You don't think about who they are as celebrities. So again, I think that there was like a transition around 5. And then, yeah, I mean, I got to see my father in so many different ways throughout my life, because I've seen, I've seen his dark sides. I've seen his heart. I've seen, I've lived through a divorce, his divorce from my mother. I've seen him, one-on-one with me. I've seen him in relationship with my brother and my sister. So it's like, I've seen my father in so many different faces. That's why it was interesting to make my first documentary about him when I did the documentary on Alexander called Fight Against Time, because I literally shadowed him as he was making the film. And in a way, it was like, Freud says you have to kill your father, right? There's like psychologically something where young men have to like kill the father in their brain. And I was like, well, in my case, I'm recreating him because I get to like retell his story and like shape the narrative.
That's cool.
About who he is.
Yeah, there is a time in my life where very early I realized my dad was a wild one. He was just a wild man, and he was just play by his own rules, and a lot of time it didn't work out for him. My dad did a lot of great things, and then I watched a lot of things go down in flames. And as I got older, especially when I got into recovery, I learned to look at my father as not only my dad, but a human being who has like trauma and just he was human. When you're really young, your dad's a superhero.
Yeah.
And then there comes this point where you're like, okay, my dad did all this fucked up shit, or really great shit, but sometimes fucked up shit. And then you start to realize, because they had trauma in their life, and they were looking through the prism of their life through this trauma, like you were, and then you start to learn to forgive them, because they weren't perfect, and maybe the things they did wrong were lessons for you to like not make those mistakes. And I remember when I was in recovery, I was like, oh, I'm turning my dad. I don't want to go down that same path. So it's very interesting. It's a very, because at some point, Michael Jordan's kids realized, okay, dad's a little different than everybody else's dad. Yeah. And like that moment, sometimes people, like you said, oh, my dad's a serial killer. That's got to be like insanity, dude.
That's crazy.
Dude, they make documentaries about that.
Right.
Like TLC was like, oh, when you found out your dad was a serial killer, and they'll talk about it, be like, dude, my dad today is still my dad. Like, I know I see him and I see the documentaries on how your dad was this person. Still my dad.
That's rough, bro. Isn't it? Can you imagine? What a nightmare.
Yeah, when my parents got divorced, my brother got right in the middle of it. And I was like, nope.
Really?
Yeah, he just wanted to know everything. And I'm like, nope, I'm going to stay out, and that's going to be mom, that's going to be dad. And I'm sure nobody's perfect. So,
yeah, I mean, I'll give you like an interesting, like little like moment of like, speaking of trauma, right? Like, so my dad was in Vietnam, right? As a soldier back in 68, 69. So, yeah, he was there. I mean, he was there, I think, almost 18 months. And, there's a lot of, he was in combat. So there's like a lot of, psychological trauma to deal with from, obviously from war, from the fire, from all the fireworks, from having to kill, like all these things, right? So when we went back to Vietnam, 30 years later, and we were like, it was really like a powerful moment, because most of the time it was like, it was like a partly him reliving and also appreciating, the memory of what the Vietnamese had sacrificed and done. And we went to the Cu Chi tunnels, where, it's amazing how like they were living like ants, in these tunnel systems. And I was a kid, I was like 13, and it was even hard for me to get in there because I was already like pretty big. But, compared to these people, obviously they're tiny, so they could move these tunnel systems. So anyway, we were traveling through the country, and this one moment, it was like a complete shift in his personality, because we were, basically a taxi driver was going to take us in a rickshaw, or it was a rickshaw or a taxi. The point is that the guy told him a certain price, and we then, got in the car and drove. And when we got there, I think the guy went up or whatever, but literally it was like 50 cents in US dollars, but you'd have to like do the math to really know. And it was just a different price. And my dad got so triggered, and he literally just like, he was yelling at the guy, but I saw him flashing back, like he really wasn't there anymore. He was in the past. He was seeing this guy as basically as someone that, as, the language of the time, like as a gook, as someone that was like pissing him off, that was trying to take advantage of him, that was an enemy. And it was just like, he got so aggressive and so angry, and like was like throwing the money at him. And then afterward, I was like, that was just 50 cents. And he was like completely befuddled, as to what had happened. It was clear that he was just in a pure PTSD moment.
Yes. And his shadow took over. You have your shadow And sometimes, you gotta learn how to live with your shadow. You'll never get rid of your shadow. It's always going to be there. And sometimes you need Hulk smash, and then sometimes you're like, oh, I shouldn't have Hulk smash. And it's like, that is the progression of becoming an adult. That was super, man, that's crazy. And you brought up the word gook, and it's like, do you guys know that was actually a term by the Vietnamese for the Americans? And the Americans liked it so much, they just turned around and started calling them in. And they were just like, oh. And they're like, you took our word. You're like, it's too good, dude.
You've always said that we're the best at that.
Yeah, we
really are. Yeah.
We're the best at flipping that shit, dude. So your dad, I don't want to make this about your dad, obviously, but I just found the journey is very interesting. But the reason I bring up this last question is, you've obviously moved into the world of conspiracies. My father... he told me something at a very early age, and it just kind of changed the way I looked at everything. Was like, he said to me, believe nothing what you hear and half what you see. Now, at this point, it's believe nothing what you hear and nothing what you see, because AI is just coming to slop the shit out of us, right? So, but it seems to me that you've gone in a little different direction. Your own person, I'm not trying to make this about your dad, but I mean, you're on your own journey, and you're now into things like the paranormal and stuff like that. Like, how did that journey happen?
Yeah, well, I mean, I started off by looking at the world differently, obviously, because I was born into a different perspective, you could say, right? I mean, my dad's perspective on history was more about counter mythologies, right? More about dispelling the illusions of, what a lot of what he did in the Untold History of the United States docuseries was informed through a lot of his work and research in the previous years, even with projects like Salvador, all the way through JFK in particular. And so I already had a perspective that was more anti-establishment, and then I focused on history. And as I mentioned, I did the documentary. I mean, before the doc, I did the book on the New World Order when I was in college. So my background was in history, and when you study history, honestly, you get into things that are strange, supernatural, mythic, legends. And a lot of questions, right? Because if you're really interested in understanding power, I think Game of Thrones is one of the best shows on TV, because the guy clearly understands history, and he understands the dynamics of power. And this question of it goes back to, there's three people in a room: a general, a pope, and a president. Who has the power, right? Is it political? Is it election, right? Elections? Is it spiritual? Is it military? And it's you could say that whoever has the gun has the power, but there's also the power of belief and, what we choose to believe in. So I've always been fascinated by power and the dynamics of it. And then there's also a question when you get into power of, I was reading books like Jim Mars's work, like Rule by Secrecy, and David Icke's work on the Biggest Secret, and William Cooper and people like this. And, you get into stuff about UFOs and extra dimensional beings, and you get into questions around, the Masons and other secret societies that have been around, Templars and others that have been around for ages. And you also just get into the question of the mysteries, because obviously mystery traditions are part of, they're part of all cultures. Initiatory mystery schools, they were in ancient Greece, they were in in Egypt, and they were part of the Eastern traditions, because there's something that is going on here that is transcendent, right? And so whether we, however you want to describe it, whether you believe in one creator, or you believe in the sky gods of the Bibles and the Sumerian accounts, or the Hindus, obviously they're all sky gods, right? And, you can dismiss it and be like, oh, these are just hallucinations or stories or whatever. But I was like, okay, I'm willing to explore this realm. And when I opened myself to that, high strangeness ensued. So it was just it was a journey of step by step opening a door, and just inviting in all kinds of experiences and encounters.
Guys, the Gulf of Hormuz is open, it's closed, it's open, it's closed. Who knows? All I know is they're printing money left and right. And the more money they print, the less your money's worth. That's why you got to stabilize your money in precious metals. And there's no better place to go than our good friends at Wise Wolf Gold and Silver. That's right. Wolfpack Gold. Let me tell you about Wise Wolf Gold and Silver. If you're paying attention, you know that de-dollarization is real. Fiat is fake, and you don't want to be left holding the bag when the dollar collapses. Gold and silver has been money through all of recorded history and are an excellent way to protect yourself from inflation and geopolitical turmoil. That's why I trust my friends at Wise Wolf Gold and Silver for all things precious metal. Veteran-owned and an A+ rating by the Better Business Bureau. No transaction is too big or too small, and you can even roll over your 401k or IRA into physical gold and silver. And if you think you can't afford precious metals, think again. With the Wolfpack monthly membership program, you can get gold and silver delivered directly to your door for as little as $50 a month. Wise Wolf Gold and Silver also deals in and accepts Bitcoin. So go to samtripoli.gold, promo code tinfoil at checkout to receive free constitutional silver. And remember, in the world of bulls and bears, be the wolf. Hey guys, we all love our pets. We love our pets. They're one of our family members. And listen, you want to make sure you're ready when any health problems come up. That's why I want to tell you about our good friends at the ASPCA Pet Health Insurance Program. Let me tell you about them. Hey guys, real quick, have you ever found yourself awake at 2 a.m., phone in hand, Googling things like, is this normal for dogs, or do I need to call the vet right now? You're not alone. All right, those unexpected moments are a part of having a pet, which is exactly why ASPCA Pet Health Insurance exists. It helps take some of the financial stress out of vet care so you can focus on your pet and less on cost.
The ASPCA Pet Health Insurance Program offers customizable accident and illness plans that can fit your budget, your lifestyle, and even your pet's particular quirks. Because let's be honest, vet bills can add up fast. ASPCA Pet Health Insurance has been around for almost 30 years and has covered over 1 million pets. And when it's time to submit a claim, it's easy. Just use their app and receive reimbursement for eligible vet bills directly into your bank account so you can get back to focusing on what really matters, your pet.
To explore coverage, visit aspcapetinsurance.com/tinfoil. That's aspcapetinsurance.com/tinfoil. Again, that's aspcapetinsurance.com/tinfoil. This is a paid advertisement. Insurance is underwritten by either Independence American Insurance Company or United States Fire Insurance Company and produced by PTZ Insurance Agency Limited. The ASPCA is not an insurer and is not engaged in the business of insurance. And we thank them for sponsoring the show. I find what you're saying very interesting because I was having a great conversation with a couple buddies last night, and you know, XG has a buddy, Nitty, right?
Yeah, Nitty.
Nitty, and Nitty wants to go see Dogmen at Skywalker Ranch, right? Skinwalker Ranch.
Oh, what is Dogman? What is Dogman?
So, you know, Dogman is one of the cryptids out there along the lines of Bigfoot and Owlman and all that stuff. And there's so much footage of crazy stuff happening there. And, you know, and one of the people there was like, people like, you know, they're all into Dogman. He felt that was like white belt shit.
Yeah.
You know, in conspiracies. And then he goes, you know, the real stuff is like the multi-layered generational like power corruption of government and humanity. And I understand what he's saying, but I really do believe it's all connected. It's all connected. Like, you know, the cryptid is connected to the highest forms of the highest levels of corruption in the government, because it is that there is something more going on here. It may be lower level, but it's still very important to the understanding that our reality isn't real. there's witchcraft everywhere, and there's sorcery being done to manipulate our energy to cause an outcome that the elites want. Right. So to me, it's all very important. It is important to the story. It is important to understanding that the realm you live in is a lot more interesting than they want you to believe. Like, they really want you to believe you're just as Bill Hicks called us, viruses and sneakers. Like, we're a lot more than that. And I find it very interesting. Have you had any paranormal? Yeah, we're all
I've had
paranoid.
a ton of those.
Yeah, I smoke weed a lot. I get paranoid a lot.
Have you had any paranormal experiences at all?
Nothing like, oh, you hear something, then you look good. But I'm that type where, like, I want to deny it. So even when it happens, I'm like, no, that was this, that was that, because I don't want to believe it. Because when you believe it, I think it is real. The more you believe in it, the more I think it becomes a thing.
Well, the interesting thing about not believing it, it makes it harder for you to see it.
But I don't want to see it. Like, dude, does anybody seriously want to see any weird shit?
Yeah, dude. I mean, they talk about the speaking of not seeing things, like the Greeks, for forever, they had no word for blue. They never described blue in literature. You can find all like.
Did they have blue though?
Well, they viewed it as a shade of another, like red, basically, like a different color. And then they've studied this, and they've found out that societies and people, as they evolve, blue is the last color that you learn to disambiguate from other colors. And
Really?
So it's that exactly what you're talking about, where if you don't expect to see something, you're not going to see. If you don't believe it,
you
know what I mean.
can't see
You don't see it.
What was that, Sean?
But then what colors have we not evolved to see then? I mean, we know obviously we
yes,
don't
of
see
course.
the
Yeah,
full
isn't there that
spectrum.
new color that they discovered?
Well, yeah.
Remember we did something on.
Well, it was you can't. Yes, it exists only in laboratory settings. Yeah.
That's so crazy to me. Why can't I make a crayon that color and then we see it?
Yeah, because
There's so much money in that new crayon color. You fucking crush it.
It depends on rods in your eye being stimulated by a piece of laboratory equipment. That it can only be done in that way.
So, Sean, you have now. Is the movie already out, or is it coming out? Your first film? It's already out. Greystone Park.
Greystone's out. Yeah. So what happened was, oh man, for like 3 years, it took 3 years to get it made. It was such a strange time in my life. But so basically, 2009 October 13th, we broke in for the first time. And I just met Alex, who became my co-writer and co-star in the film. But I had just met him the night before with my dad, because Alex was hanging out on Wall Street 2, the set, and and I was there. Like, I did like a little cameo in Wall Street 2. So we linked up, and he was all into the paranormal stuff because he grew up in Jersey, and you know how like Jersey's weird, right?
Yeah, dude, a lot of paranormal around Jersey
right?
too.
Jersey Devil and anyway, like they had Weird NJ as a magazine, right? So there's like a lot of stuff on that, Jersey to like upstate New York area, and a lot of mental hospitals. So he was
the occult is all through. Sorry to cut you off. I mean, but one of the epicenters of the occult is upstate New York, and you would never know that when you're there. It is an epicenter.
Yeah. And so what creeped me out was like, okay, so a lot happened. But the first night we were just telling, like, kind of just sharing ghost stories. And he was talking about Greystone because it was a famous mental hospital, like in the beginning of the Bob Dylan movie. He goes to visit Woody Guthrie. Is it Bob Dylan? He goes to visit Woody Guthrie, right? Yeah,
that's right.
And Woody's at the Greystone Mental Hospital. So this place was massive. They found about 3,000 bodies buried there when they closed the facility down. The place had, he said it'd been there for 100 years. And when we showed up that night, and we had to park the car, and like you're breaking in, so you're trying to avoid security driving by, and you're just like running around to find like an open door. And it was just creepy because like there was one door that had like a broomstick on it, and that was the open door. And Alex had already told me, like in the past, while exploring some of these places, that he'd encountered Satanists, like doing like basically like at some of these locations.
Oh my
And I was like, October 13th already is like, it's an inversion of October 31, which is Halloween. So I was like, there's a possibility that there could be Satanists here. The broomstick on the door was just creepy. So anyway, we go in the place and we're like walking in, and you walk in this place and it's like walking on the moon. Like you literally just feel like you're the only person, and obviously other explorers do it, but like most people don't go in these places, man. They're like, they've been abandoned for, 10, 15, 20 years, but all the lights were on, all the stuff, the desk, the paperwork, everything was like scattered, and it was just like someone had created a mess and left, but it was all there. And so you're just walking through this place, and starting to feel like the energy as like time goes by. I think we're there for like an hour, like exploring the bottom floor, then moving up layer, like level by level, and it gets darker and darker until you get to the top floors where like the roof is like caving in, and like some of it's completely messed up and kind of dangerous. And so like that's when it gets completely pitch black and you don't really see anything. But we had our flashlights, and anyway, so we get to a certain place, and Alex basically like stops. He's in front, and like he stops, and then like he like takes off running, and they like ran down like 3-4 flights of stairs, and then like he finally stopped. He was like literally dry heaving, and he's like, "Whoa, did you see that? Did you see that face?" And I was like, "What?" He's like, "This woman's face came out of the ground." She was like, "Ah," and like
What?
It was in my face, like, and I was like, "Okay, listen, I don't know, you saw something or not? Like you seem freaked out. Let's just keep going." And then he's like, no, just keep going. I'm like, let's get out of here. He's like, let's keep going. And I'm like, I think we should just get out of here. He's like, no, I want to go to the kitchen. I'm like, why do you want to go to the kitchen? He's like, that's where they eat. And I was like, who eats? What the fuck are you talking about?
Right.
And I was like, is this guy trying to like lead us to get killed? Like, what is going on
Now,
right now?
real quick, sorry to. Is this hospital been closed down for a while?
Oh yeah, at that point, it had been closed for like 20 years. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You have to look it up when Greystone Park was initially closed, but this was 2009, so it's probably about 20 years it's been shut down or more. And like I said, it's still got the lights and the power and everything on. So yeah, so we go back to the lower floors. We're continuing to like walk around, and you get lost. I mean, this place is so big, you literally, it feels like a labyrinth, And that was like another thing. It's like you start to like wonder, like, how am I going to get out of here? Because you don't really, you don't know. Most of these doors are locked. And you start to like get like, you get nervous because you don't know which way to go, like how to get out of, if the doors are locked, how do you find the open door again, So it was this feeling that I put into the movie when I ultimately made the film of like, getting lost and locked in into an asylum, and then starting to see stuff and getting more and more paranoid. Now, thankfully that first night we got to a place where he wanted to keep going, but we went into this corridor and we saw like a boot in the middle of the corridor. And it was just like, I don't know, this all feels wrong. Whose boot is that? What's going on? We need to go. And then we heard something above us. And it was like steps. And that's when I was just like, get us out of here right now. So we just took off, like found a door, busted out, went back to the car, took off. But here's where things got even crazy. Like that was just the beginning of how things started getting crazy, because that was nothing. Like that was just the entree. I mean, that's why like what I'm going to be putting out is the documentary of the behind the scenes of some of the stuff. I can't even document all of it because it was too much. But I literally have like a documentary with the things that followed, that ensued. But the first thing that ensued, and I don't have it in the documentary, is that I went back to LA. Right. And immediately got into like a car accident. Like, by the way, like the next day, it was like the energy was like still off. Like I got into a car accident like the next day, but it wasn't a bad one. It was just like I could feel like my energy was off. And then Paranormal Activity comes out.
The movie, right?
And the same month. So we got screwed on timing for all of this, because what we were doing was like a handheld documentary style. But by the time it came out, it was like, oh, you're aping Paranormal Activity. I'm like, no, we actually live this stuff, and this is our experience. But that's a whole other story. So the point is, so we're diving into the paranormal now, and I go back to LA. Alex is in Jersey, and he starts getting these people outside of his house. and this is why I mentioned the Satanist stuff, because I don't know for sure what this, what that was, but he was recording, like he'd like call me, from New York, and it's like, 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock in New York, and it's like 9 o'clock in LA, right? And he had like a video camera, and he would be like, or it was like, he would send me the video recording, or he was Skyping, but basically I would see this like guy outside. You couldn't tell if it was a man or woman. It was all cloaked, right? Like, remember, I Know What You Did Last Summer, like that kind of style, like just completely like hooded and like hat and everything. Like you can't see the person. And it had like a torch, not like a candle, but like some kind of like, torch light. And it was like chanting. And it was just standing in the street outside of his house chanting.
Nope.
Yeah.
Yep. Nope.
And it would come, it would appear, like it wouldn't go every night, like, but occasionally like he would freak out. He'd run down. He'd come and like, he'd like open the door and it'd be gone. So like he was freaked out. And then, then like maybe like a week later it would show up and like the same thing. And then the craziest one was like one night there were two beings out there. Okay. Two figures. And he was recording it and he's like, what the f-? And like he's zooming in and all of a sudden the two beings put up their arms like bats, like,
oh, come on, dude.
Like he was freaking out. He went downstairs with his sword and everything. He couldn't figure out who these people were. And then the last time they showed up was Halloween night, because remember this started on October 13th. Ooh. So Halloween night, October 31. He's like at home and he gets this like ding dong, and it's like I can't remember if it was early or late, because it was like it wasn't. It was like he was like freaked out because he was like he goes to the door with a sword. And he had me like on his like Skype camera or something, and he opens the door and there's Tickle Me Elmo sitting out there.
That's so crazy, dude.
I was like, that's pretty funny. And that was it.
It's like, funny?
That's creepy.
Yeah,
I mean, it's funny. When you look, you're like scared. You think there's going to be a monster. And there's Tickle Me Elmo, but that is still creepy, dude.
Right. Yeah. And that's the kind of stuff that we ended up, like, a lot of the stuff that's in the documentary, like people will see, like that's straight up crazy ghost stories. But some of the stuff that we encountered, I didn't even put in the documentary because I wasn't even like, how do I explain this to people?
Yeah.
Like Alex went to Greystone one night, and I think it was like a year later, because we were like it was a 3-year process of making the movie. Like we shot part of the film, funding fell apart, we finished shooting, the investor basically wanted to seize the film and was like, gonna take it away from me, and we had to like then go to some other people to find post money and post it, and so it took like 3 years, right, from like shooting it to getting it out. So in that time we're ghost hunting, we're going to different mental hospitals, we're exploring, and then Alex went one night to Greystone. And what happened? He ended up with a Book of the Dead, like a Necronomicon book.
Oh my God! It just gets crazier.
Yeah, not going
Listen,
in there with that.
this is where it's like I can't, like, honestly, I can't even remember like some of this stuff because it got so out, like kind of like what is reality at this point. But he ended up going to Greystone, and like he basically said it was like Halloween, and he's like there were a bunch of Satanists there, and somehow he ended up with a Book of the Dead because he was like he went into the basement. Now, the basement is like a whole other terrain that we explored one time, and I'll give you like a quick idea of what the basement was. The basement goes into like the catacombs, and it goes on for miles in all directions. Like literally, that's how I think a lot of the Satanists or whatnot could enter, like would be through catacombs, right? And like do their rituals or whatnot. And so one night I was there with my brother, Alex, and a police officer off duty, because he was like a buddy, and I was just like, listen, if we're breaking into this place, I feel more comfortable with you being there. And also in case there's any Satanists or anybody in here, you got a gun. So we go into Greystone that night, and we're exploring, and we ended up deciding to go down into the basement to the catacombs. So Alex is right in front of me, I'm right behind him. I think it's my brother and the cop. And we're like going down the stairs, and Alex right in front of me jumps and like starts running. And I saw that there was something with a flashlight. Like I could see it like a light down there because it's pitch black in the catacombs, right? But there's something with a light, flashlight. And he's telling the cop, like, give me your gun, give me your gun. He's like, I'm like, don't give him his gun. Don't give him your gun. Just come here. But like, look at like what's going on. Okay. I don't want him to have the gun. I want the cop to have the gun. Right. But the point is that there's something down there. So we keep going down and like, we're looking around, like trying to see like, what was that? Is there a homeless person living down here? Is there a Satanist doing some work? Like what's down here? Right. And the cop like, is with us and he's scanning this area and he basically says that he like flashes upon something. He said it doesn't look like it's human and then it disappears. But we keep going, like we keep exploring through the catacombs for like 30, 40 minutes, walking around, just like we find like the power, what is it called? The mainframe, like, for the power, the energy grid, all this, like, we're checking out down there. And it was just cool. We were exploring, but there was something down there when we first walked into the catacombs. So from my recollection, when Alex told me he got this Book of the Dead and he showed me this thing, and it was like, I don't think it was in English. I think it was in some Aramaic or ancient script.
What?
He goes, I took this out of Greystone. He goes, I found this in Greystone and I took it out. And basically, he goes, ever since then, some weird, like, bad things have been happening, like to his family, to his mom, his dad, like his mom was having nightmares, like some crazy stuff was going on, right?
It was a book?
It was the book, right? So we're like, listen, you got to take the book back.
Bring it back.
So what happened was, I think, this is crazy. Like, this is just, I mean, the stuff that happened. So we go back to bring the book back, and on the drive, we stop at Burger King. Okay. And I don't know what the this thing was. It was like an experience out of Men in Black. We're at the Burger King, and I know there's weird people at Burger King and McDonald's. One of the guys at Burger King was straight up possessed. He was straight up like hooded. He was looking at like these newspaper clippings. He had like 12 newspaper clippings like cut up and just like randomly assembled, and he was just like whispering and just you get crazy people like that. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
But this one dude walks in the Burger King. And it's like, he's got a hood, can't see his face for some reason. He goes up to and he like walks kind of like the guy in Men in Black, like he's disembodied, like he's not in his body. And like walks up to the guy at the counter. He's like, he orders a Coke. He's like, Coke, a sugar water or whatever he said. And then like he just takes the cup and fills it up with Coke, like the big cup, and you fill it up. And then he just starts slurping and slurping it. And we're like looking at him, like, and we're literally have a camera and we're trying to get around to like see his face, but he keeps clocking his head, so we can't. So literally, like every time we start moving, it's just like you can only see like the side, like to there, right? You can't see his face, and he keeps clocking, but he's slurping this Coke, and he drinks the whole Coke, fills it again, drinks the whole Coke, fills it again, drinks he chugs 3 Cokes. While we're sitting there trying to see who this person is, and he's completely like, he knows we're watching him because he just keeps clocking himself just enough so that we can't see his face. It was so surreal.
Is this all in the movie?
No, this is not even in the movie. That's what I'm telling you. This is just some of the stuff we lived, man. This is like the strangeness of that time period. So he walks out and we're just like, I don't know what that was, but we're going to go put this book back in Greystone, right? That's what we told ourselves at least. So now it's like there's 3 of us, right? Alex, another guy. The 3 of us drive the car up to Greystone, and it's like it starts to raining. It's like not the best weather. It just starts raining out of the blue. And we park and we're like looking at it and we're like, I don't know. Like I'm not feeling it right now. Like none of us were feeling it, like you got to feel it. Like, yeah, like we're going in and like we're just like, no. And I swear, while we're sitting there in the parked car, something literally like landed. Boom, 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 like it ran over the car.
Oh, shit.
What?
Just like... And we're just like, I don't think it's the night, man. Let's go.
Yeah. How hard is it to get in there? Is it gated? Is there just like a random wooded window that's open? Like how hard is it? If you're homeless, can you live in there?
In the catacombs?
No, it was an open layout.
In the Greystone?
Yeah. If you're homeless, you don't want to live in. You don't want to live in Greystone. That's the problem.
Dude, you're not coming out.
I'm trying to tell you, like, you don't want to live there. You will end up possessed if you were not already. the thing is, it's open in the sense that like it's an open, like a park, like a park that you can drive up to the front door. The reason it's hard to get in is you have to hide the car. Like one night we had to like park in like next to like, it was almost like a swamp. And we felt like we were walking through like, like snakes in a swamp kind of feeling, because you don't want to get caught. If the security driving by, because they do like their hourly like, drive by, if they see your car, then they'll wait for you and bust you. So you have to like drive in a place, hide your car in a place that you can then run, and run in and find then like an open door. And as I said, the place was massive. It was the biggest foundation till they built the Pentagon. That's how big it was.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, it was huge. So we would always like enter at different points. I even like well, it was worse than a sprain. Like I had like a slight fracture from jumping over the railing one time. Ended up in a boot cast for like 6 weeks.
Jeez.
So it was it was adventurous, but how do we end up getting rid of the Book of the Dead? We ended up just burning it. We just had this ritual and just burned the book.
So this book was in the hospital.
We just booked.
You grabbed it, took it out, and you're like, "Oh, dude, chaos! Let's burn this fucking book.
Let's burn the Necronomicon." So that was the end of that chapter, and that's like not even in the documentary. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Like there was so much stuff that we lived, that what I'm putting in the documentary is literally just the stuff that like I actually was able to record. And I mean, some of the stuff that I recorded ended up getting erased. Like one of the incursions into this other place that was really messed up, and that's a whole other story. But like I recorded this girl getting possessed, and when we transferred the footage from the phone, from the camera to the computer at that time, like this is all 15 years ago now, the footage stops when we enter. Right before we enter the building, it stops, and it picks up after we leave the building. Even though we watched it back many times, like on the camera.
Dude,
That's
that
crazy.
is crazy.
Wiped it.
Producer's worst nightmare, by the way. Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you'll see in the documentary. The documentary still works without it. It just sucks because it was like some
Such
of the crazy.
You lost sound too? Sound and video you lost?
No, just black. Just nothing. Like nothing, because it's digital. This is digital, right? Digital
Right, so it's all,
cards.
yeah, I got you. Okay.
Somehow the digital cards completely gone. Like just from the moment before entering the building to the moment to like basically like minutes after we left.
Yeah.
All of it gone.
Guys, listen, we are in a battle for humanity, and the only way we're going to get out of this is to hump our way out, okay? We're talking deep Dickens, all right? And that's why the one group you want on your side when you fight for freedom is Blue Chew. Guys, sex is back on the table or the counter or the bed or wherever you do it, okay? Thanks to Blue Chew Gold. The new arousal boosting formula from the #1 better sex brand, Blue Chew, is making bedrooms noisy again, and it doesn't just get you hard. It gets you aroused, horny, turned on. Got performance anxiety? Say goodbye to your little friend. Not with this. Blue Chew Gold quiets the noise so you can handle your business. When you take Blue Chew, get ready to meet your new dick. He's confident, walks in the room with a chin up, okay? Makes eye contact. Stuff is crazy. I think mine talks, okay? He's the cock of the walk, if you know what I mean, and you know what I mean. Knock, knock. Who's there? Knock, 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 knock. Ring the doorbell, ring the doorbell. That's the sound of your bedpost when you use a Blue Chew. Okay, Blue Chew Gold is better sex in a tablet. They combine 4 ingredients into one powerful solution. 2 ingredients get you hard physically, and 2 support arousal and desire in the brain. It works fast and lasts. Guys, have a complete experience in the bedroom with Blue Chew Gold, okay? There's a reason why Blue Chew is the #1 brand for better sex. Experience it yourself at BlueChew.com. And we got a special deal for our listeners. Guys, brace yourself for impact. Right now, when you buy 2 months of Blue Chew Gold, you get a 3rd one free with promo code TINFOIL. That's promo code TINFOIL. You will receive an additional 10% off and free overnight shipping on your first order. Okay, visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank all of us everyone that works on the show. We thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the pod and the bedroom. Amazing. Hey guys, real quick, I want to tell you about my date. It's going to be in Miami at the end of July, Joke World. I'm going to be in St. Petersburg. Then I'm going to be in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Then we'll be in Dallas for TrutherCon, New Orleans for Skankfest, and closing out in Austin. And there is a chance I could be at one other place we're dealing with now. And real quick, please get on my mailing list. Just sign up. These guys are on it. They're getting emails all the time telling you what I'm doing this week, the shows I'm coming up for. So, and then check out World War Debate. Big news coming. Let's get back to it. That is the weird thing about the paranormal. It's like, how do they know cameras are there? Because they have such
it's all energy, isn't it?
A great job of hiding from it.
It's all electricity.
It's like, let's say you think Bigfoot is just another animal. Yeah, how come it's so hard to get a shot of it? How does it know that it is that it's being watched?
The frequencies, it fucks it up.
Maybe, dude.
So we were talking about you guys were talking about Skinwalker Ranch. So we went to Skinwalker when we were doing the conspiracy theory show. And that was Tyrell Ventura, Jesse's son, and myself. We were like the two co-hosts, like leads on it. And we were hanging out outside Skinwalker like most of the day because we couldn't get access to like the property itself. I know that since then they've done like a really good series like accessing the property, but we were just hanging out like at the perimeter. And at one point, like I hopped the fence and I was like just like starting to walk on to just kind of scout it out, see what I could see. And I kid you not, like after maybe like 500 yards in, I felt like something burning in my leg, almost like, you could maybe say like an energy weapon or something, but like something was literally like, felt like it was burning. And I was just like, all right, I'm out of here. I don't know what's going on.
Dude, you are just putting yourself in chaos, bro.
Yeah. So I came back, and then hours later, we went away, we came back, we were like, we were doing other stuff for the show, like doing interviews and stuff. And then we came back at night, and there was a moment where I'm standing in front of Tyrell. I'm like, and I hear this like and I just like freeze, and I'm just like looking straight ahead, and I don't know, maybe it was 5 seconds, 10 seconds, but I heard it, and then it went away. And like I turn around because I didn't think to look up. I don't know. I don't even know if maybe I was frozen in time. I just like froze. And I look at Tyrell, and Tyrell's mouth is like agape. And he's just, did you see that? And I was like, what? And he goes, and he wasn't a believer. Just this is to the point that like people who believe versus don't believe, I don't think it's necessary. You don't have to be a believer. When something shifts your consciousness, man, you'll have that experience. And he basically said that there was a diamond-shaped craft that appeared in the sky, and it looked like it emitted like a green kind of laser.
What?
And then it just like pivoted and then like shot off. And we didn't record it. I mean, no one was recording. I don't think anyone else saw it except I heard it. He saw it. So. Again, it's like it's an experience in consciousness. That's the best way I can put it. And that's why when they do communicate with you through like synchronicities, it can sometimes be like on your computer, you might like get something like breaking up the image or coming through on the image. It can be through your phone, like through frequencies of phone calls or texts. I mean, I don't think any of that's far out. People are were laughing when I talked about like demonic, 666 phone calls, but it's just the frequency. People have been talking about ghost calls forever, right? The white noise, the phantom phone calls, the ghost calls from dead people. You ever heard like there's like the Y-Files did a great episode about this, like people that were literally dead. Like this guy were calling their loved ones.
I remember that episode. There was one in a train. Right? This guy dies in a train in like a crazy train wreck, and he keeps getting phone calls, and then they keep calls coming in for a while. It's really it's nuts. So you're like, who's calling?
That's crazy, dude. So I wonder if this goes back, and I need to do more. A big episode on it is King Solomon, and when he figures out how to control the demons. And I think I could be wrong. But there's something about that. He says you can't directly talk to them. he kind of makes this rule with them. You can't directly talk to them. You have to talk to them through symbols and stuff like that.
Like the Ouija board? Is that what you mean?
Like what we're talking about, phantom calls or, you know, something weird on your computer. It can't be directly communication. It's interesting, man. It's all of it's super interesting. Man, that's some crazy ass shit.
I mean, you think about the nature of incantation. I mean, ritual is like, it's incantation, right? There's power to words, to language, to frequency, right? As it's emitted by words. And so when you know, what is like, why does a spell work based? Well, spelling, right? What do? We spell words, right? We evoke something based on the frequency that we're speaking at, and then as we know from like the different studies of frequency and like water, how it affects water, right? The Emoto, like was it Dr. Emoto and Japanese studies of like different frequencies and how it affects like the molecular structure of water, or how when it's more coherent it looks like a snowflake, it looks like a hexagram. And when it gets like more muddied and more like discordant,
negative energy,
basically, right? Negative energy. So I think all of that, resonates, whether it's demonic or, it's like whether it's discordant, chaotic. I mean, that's the energy. It's fear-based for the most part. The energy of fear is where like dark things live. They prey upon. And so the main point, is not to be like, not just, you can't, like I said, you can't erase the shadow. This goes to the heart of it. You can't get rid of the shadow. You can't banish Lucifer. You can't like get rid of these things. You have to be able to overcome your fear of it. You have to be able to overcome your fear of the shadow, of that dark side, of that darkness, because it's also in you, or there's at least the potential for it in you. And so you have to overcome that with love, with faith, with courage, right? And that's the eternal struggle, really, is just facing our own fears.
So I remember when I just did a podcast and I was like, it's literal magic, dude. It's literally sorcery. Like we're dealing with like when we're talking next gen weaponry, propaganda, weather manipulation, whatever it is, dude. It's like straight up Doctor Strange magic, dude. And like the more I hear what you're saying, the more it's like high strangeness is the best way to call it, the best term for it, because it's just so much deeper. And it's very funny because like you have like the Owlman of Chicago, which is like the only cryptid that somewhat enters a big city. It's like maybe it's on the fringe, but most of the stuff happens outside of the big city. I think it's because the electromagnetic energy of a big city kind of shields you from seeing a lot of this stuff. But when you get into the small towns where there's less electricity all over the place, deep into the country where there's very little at all, now you start the veil starts to be lifted, and you start to see more of this stuff. And it's crazy how people love it in Hollywood. They love to see movies about it, but they can't make that jump to like, hey, this stuff's real. It's like, when I say it's like Harry Potter shit, it's just not as obvious. I'm being dead serious, dude. I'm being dead serious. They are manipulating energy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's real. And people don't understand that. They just think it's fairy tale shit.
I mean, that's where I know part of me thinks, feels that if they're people are so dismissive, they're also being manipulated, to believe that, to fall into that trap, right? It's not from a place of light. When you it's like being like an atheist or something, it's like, okay, well, you're kind of missing the reality. How do we, the fundamental questions of how we're here and what we are, right? You can't explain it from within the experience, within the human experience. You can't explain it.
So there was a guy that I had on my pod that literally he was an atheist, and I'm like, well, then what do you believe? And he goes back to simulation, and I'm like, well, if you believe in simulation, you believe in God because someone created the simulation, and he's like, nope. It's just a game. I'm like, okay, but if it's a game, someone created the game, dude. And he's like, nope, I'm atheist. Nothing's gonna happen when I die. And he's being manipulated.
Sounds to me like he's got secrets, dude,
or something like that. Yeah,
it's usually
like you hope that nothing. happens.
You're like, I can do whatever I want. There's no consequences. That's when I hear somebody say that. They tend to be a little bit more well-to-do. Right, and they've got secrets, dude. They got secrets, man. If you don't want to believe in karma or any of that shit, they got secrets, dude. And that's 100% true. Dude, that was crazy. Hey, I want to get into your RFK movie. And the reason and I'm not trying to go down any other, I just think there's some shit going on with this Tyler Robinson stuff. That the RFK assassination is such a really great example of how you got to really watch yourself when you start just buying into official narratives and when there's so much more really going on, especially with RFK Jr. going around going, that dude didn't kill my dad. It was this guy who died in Thailand or some shit. That to me is a cautionary tale. And it's Johnny, well, we were all talking before the show about how it's that trial's just, people are going to war on Twitter. People are people who are cool or not cool, and they're just screaming at each other, very much a non-linear warfare kind of way. I know what's right, you're dumb. I know what's right, you're dumb. And it's they're just at each other's necks. And I just say you got to study some history, man, and see, I don't know what happened, but I know there's a history of that and events that sound a lot like this, that I would be very cautious in deep-throating any kind of official narrative, So tell us a little bit about your movie.
Yeah. So the doc came from an idea of paralleling the father and son journey, RFK Sr. and Jr., because I felt that RFK Jr. running for president was an important moment in 2024. He was throwing his hat in the ring as the first, not the first, but I guess Teddy Kennedy did run, but really the most consequential nominee was RFK Sr. in '68, and he was killed during the basically before the primary, right? During the primaries, before he was nominated to become the candidate for the Democrat Party. And that assassination was huge in the psyche of the public. People talk so much about JFK and written so many books on the subject. And as we know, it's one of those endless gateway conspiracies where you can go down countless rabbit holes of who did it. Certainly, it's pretty clear it's not Oswald alone, but we can say that who ultimately did it is very complex. RFK Sr. is likewise complex and very much like the second pillar of the story, right? It's two assassinations, because RFK Sr. could have gone back into the investigation of who killed his brother once he was president. He could have winded down the Vietnam War more rapidly. He could have been you could say a bridge between Democrats and Republicans at that time in '68, when you had the youth generation, became kind of known as the hippies, right? The counterculture. I think that RFK Sr. was more, sympathetic to them than Nixon. He was certainly more liked by them, also by the black community and others. So I feel like RFK could have been a centralizing figure, let's say, for the country at a time that we were polarizing. And so it was tragic that he was struck down. And then RFK Jr. basically runs in that same mold. So I thought that was interesting, to see the legacy of basically overcoming tragedy. RFK Jr. overcame the tragedy of his father's death to become a great environmental lawyer, and also go through his own kind of assassination. In his case, it was character assassination. So to go back to RFK Sr., the story of the assassination doesn't make any sense, because the main component that the case rests upon is Sirhan's confession. But Sirhan was clearly in a state of hypnosis at the time that he so-called conducted the assassination of Kennedy. And essentially, I mean, we know, for example, that the LAPD, just like with JFK's assassination, the police department was actively trying to suppress any other witnesses to the crime that had a different story, right? So when, for example, other people said, hey, initially at the moment the assassination, there were other guns seen, and there was a woman in a polka dot dress that was seen running out from the room, and she had been saying, we got him, excitedly. And this one lady...
What? I never heard that. In the hotel?
Yeah, in the hotel. And this one lady said, you got who? And she goes, Kennedy, the senator. And then she runs off. And this gal related what she heard. And initially that night, if you want to get deep into this,
yes.
Lisa Pease, who we interviewed, Lisa Pease is written a tome on this book. I mean, she's worked on this for 30 years. I mean, going back for decades, she's done research on the assassination. She's the best expert on it. But the night of the assassination, there was initially a APB put out that there was another shooter, that there was a second gunman, and they were looking for other people. And I think the polka dot woman was mentioned. I can't recall, but there was definitely a mention of others involved. So when that lady heard the polka dot woman saying, we got him, she reported that to the police. The police department and two of the cops that are basically tasked with convincing her that she has false memory, that she is remembering falsely, that she is lying, that's what they do. And these guys were basically like, they seem to have been part of CIA counterintelligence operations, so their whole game is to basically tell her, and this is, there's audio of this. No, you did not hear that. She's like, yes, I did. No, you couldn't have heard that. This is what they do. They bully her for hours and hours until she basically gives up and says, fine, maybe you're right. And that's all they need. Okay, there's a doubt. All they need is planting a seed of doubt in her testimony. And that was it. So, there were multiple shooters. I don't even know if it was just two. Other people saw what may have been a longer weapon that was wrapped up in a newspaper and that was carried out of the ballroom. It was complicated. It was a very messy thing.
I never heard any of this. There was there was another weapon carried out in a newspaper.
Yeah, and the other thing was that there were probably two teams. So what's interesting is this: when Kennedy leaves the ballroom, he makes a choice to go through the kitchen, right? And that's where he gets killed, is in the kitchen. Now he could have gone in a different direction, and but people spotted what they thought was Sirhan in the other place. Why did they think they spotted Sirhan? Because there was a twin, not a twin exactly, but a double. Someone that was basically like Sirhan at the other location, because there was a second team. Because RFK was not going to get out of that hotel alive that night. So if he had gone either direction, there was a kill team waiting for him.
Listen, okay? I tell you guys this shit. How lucky are you guys to work with me, dude? You guys are so blessed. Because I've been saying this forever. There are multiple levels ready on these high impact events that the target does not get out. They're like, if the first team doesn't get it, the second team's waiting right there. Second team doesn't get it, third team's waiting right there, dude. Not to get too far off path. So I was watching this video on whatever this is last night with the guys, and we had Jim Leon talking about how weather manipulation can be direct energy weapons. And he talked on 9/11 how there was this giant hurricane outside of New York City. I watched this video last night where a guy was in this whatever space station or something on 9/11 in the air, and they could see the smoke from where they were from New York City, and they were like, we could see the smoke. We hope they catch whoever did this. This is a discussion, whatever we can do to help. And the guy goes, and then they didn't even mention this. And bro, the video pans back, and you guys cannot believe how big this hurricane was. I mean, it's the biggest. I've never seen a hurricane this big. It was sitting right outside of New York City.
And just in case?
Well, it's like, it's getting, not to get up too much off course, because what Sean's telling us is mind blowing, but it's just another level. It's like planes, missiles, whatever you want, bombs, and then
it was Hurricane Aaron with an E.
Dude, it was huge. I'll show you, if you go on Twitter, you can find it, but it's not important to this conversation right now. But it's just levels, dude. So when he says this, it's mind blowing, dude.
So okay, you ready for something? Okay. So we're talking about hurricanes and the creation of weather, right? Manipulation of weather and all this stuff that they can do. So when I was on Conspiracy Theory, I talked about this. One of the phone calls I got, because over the course of that 3 years, basically 2010 and 2012, I was getting a whole number of phone calls. Some were very demonic and just distorted, and others were more clear. And it was like a voice, like a man that I could actually understand what he was saying. And in 2011, I got a phone call in summertime around, what was it? Maybe June, July time period. It was, they called and they said, 55 days to blackout. And I was like, okay, I don't know what that means. But this is the kind of cryptic stuff that they would pass along, right? And 55 days later, you had Sandy hit New York. And what did Sandy do? There was a huge blackout, especially the south side of the island, right? The power station right next to where I lived actually went out. And so, was that the blackout that they were referring to, that they were basically telling me in advance, giving me advance information about?
That's crazy, dude. That is crazy. But I don't want to get off RFK. Dude, this is mind blowing, because on the JFK assassination, we've done a whole episode on it a long time ago in Tinfoil Hat. 2 Oswalds. There were 2 Oswalds there that day. And then you get into and I don't believe the Trump shooting. This is Sam speaking. I don't believe the Trump shooting, but how they had three different suspects who all looked exactly alike. It's crazy, dude.
The reason you don't believe Trump, because if they wanted to, they could have, right?
That's get into this. It's there's layers, dude. If you look at the JFK assassination, and you study that, there were South American and Cuban assassin squads there. Half the plaza. I say it all the time, but it's like a John Wick movie where they put the hit out on John Wick and everybody in the plaza is sitting there drinking coffee. Yeah. Their phones go off and they're all assassins. Right? You don't get out of there, dude. You don't get out of there. If they want you done, you do not get out of there. There were multiple levels where the multiple shots coming everywhere. You don't get out of there, dude. And then when you hear there's 2 Sirhans, oh my God. That is crazy. And it's just consistent. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't 2 Sirhans. Oh, just to make a correction, I was Hurricane Irene in 2011. Sandy was 2012.
We don't fact check here. We believe whatever you say.
But as far as the 2 Sirhans, the point being that they looked enough alike and were dressed enough alike that people confused them later and thought, they had seen them, because there was most likely 2 teams, and that's how you would do it, right? You would have 2 teams in the ready, because if RFK had gone in the other direction, you're going to get him. So when they, and the most important point being, who is the easiest person to kill someone is the person directly in behind them. Now, this is the most important evidence that we have with the RFK thing. And this is why, you always have to look at forensics. The Charlie Kirk thing is no different. Look at the forensics. Does the forensics add up? Does it make sense? In the case of RFK, it was done by Noguchi, who was a very good, what do they call him? What's the word for the coroner? Basically, right? He says that the bullet most likely came from about an inch, but basically half an inch to 1 inch behind the right ear, right? So that kill shot is exactly where it could have been the security guard who had RFK was holding his left arm. He was holding RFK's right arm with his left, right? So he was right on RFK's right side. Now he could have shot because we know that he pulled his gun and no one ever checked to see if the gun had fired any bullets that day. The sheriff, the LAPD, no one checked the gun. He pulled the gun, and no one knows if it was fired or not. So he could have shot him, or he could have held him, and someone else could have taken the shot. But the point was that the bullet came from behind. All the bullets that hit Kennedy, it was what, 3 or 4 bullets that hit Kennedy, all came from behind him. And Sirhan was always about 6 feet in front, and right away, as soon as Sirhan stepped forward and started firing, and almost immediately after firing, like 1, 2, maybe at most 3 shots, the gun was put up into the air, and he was wrestled, and everything else was fired away. And that's why it's impossible that Sirhan, and again, you go into the number of bullets in the gun. I can't remember exactly how many were in the gun, but the number of bullets that were found as far as people hit, and then actually like bullet entries into the wall was more than were in his gun.
Whoa!
Yeah, I mean it's doesn't add up. Nothing adds up to Sirhan being the assassin, or even if he was a assassin, not being the lone assassin in that case. But again, it's a nice, easy story for everyone to digest and say this guy's a nut. And just like with Tyler Robinson, it's a nice, easy story. He's a nut. And don't look over here or there or question the motivations of others who might want that person dead.
It is crazy. This is crazy, dude. And then you get into John Lennon's assassination and how, what's the assassin's name, Johnny?
Mark David Chapman.
Mark David Chapman. Again, three names. And,
I will say the news does that so that they're not liable if there's a lot of Mark Chapmans, you know what I mean? So at a newspaper, if somebody commits a crime, you put a third name there. You identify them as specifically as possible.
Respect on that. Okay. So, about how he would just get calls in his hotels and just like they couldn't tell who he's talking to.
Yeah.
And they were like, are there trigger words being said on the phone? Because Mark David Chapman would go on trips around the world that he could not afford to go on. And then you get into the YMCA, which he was a big part of, and how there's a lot of belief that these YMCAs were actually CIA fronts to help destabilize Latin America and all over the world, and how he was working in these YMCAs all over the place, traveling around, and no one understood how he could afford it.
And Lennon, a guy that we know the government had a hard on for.
Just blew too hard.
Watch the U.S. versus John Lennon. It's all about how the government tried to get him deported for years and years.
Just like Manson. How many times did they let him out, too?
Oh, that's a crazy one, dude. Too. I mean, more stuff's coming out.
The Manson story, I would read the Manson Files, an amazing book. I think Manson had less to do with what the people think it was, and more to do with a drug burn or a drug, drugs gone bad, but there was some surveillance of that network that Polanski's Polish buddy was setting up with MDMA, and Jay Sebring was a major drug dealer, and that whole thing was under surveillance. So the Manson story is not a cult leader sending somebody to kill people.
Yeah.
It's more like a drug burn got ugly, because you saw a similar situation with the Wonderland murders, with the massacre at the Wonderland house because of drug, people on drugs or dealing drugs. There's a lot of weapons. There's a lot of murder. It's very common. And anyway, the Manson thing, it's all crazy because Manson is protected at some level. He thinks he's mafia protected. He insinuates it all the time. I mean, it's just, there's some weird stuff going on. Mafia, CIA, I mean, all of that merges, as you know, in that time period. So, especially because of the drug trafficking. That's what CIA and Mafia were doing together since the 40s and 50s. They were trafficking drugs, right? That's what we know about Luciano's, the deal Luciano got after, he helped America during the Second World War. Thereafter, the various Mafia networks were kind of protected, if not before, but certainly after, by intelligence. And certainly during the Vietnam era, Air America's, flying drugs, and, the CIA's all over, all their guys are all over that operation bring drugs from the Golden Triangle, and then cocaine later from Latin America. We're always working. Remember the cocaine coup, where we're supporting the people that are basically backing cocaine in Bolivia and countries like this. I mean,
Escobar was CIA, dude, for a long time, and then there always gets this moment where it's like, I'm a real boy, and then they're like, nah.
I mean, Noriega was CIA for sure. Escobar was probably protected. I think he was protected. I think he had photos apparently of like with Bush, at least if not with Bush Senior, then with maybe even with Junior. But the point was that Escobar was protected, and then at a certain point, the protection, you shift alliances, right? You decide this guy's not worth it. Whatever happens, right? You take out one guy, you take out Escobar, but the Cali cartel stays in power and rises, gets more powerful. So it's like, it's like choosing. It's like basically you're in charge of picking which guy you're going to back.
Bro, that stuff about the polka dot lady, you know what that reminds me of? The Vegas shooting. Do you remember when they said that there was a woman running around the concert going, "You're all going to die tonight"?
Wow.
That reminds me.
I dated a girl who was at that concert, and she was traumatized by it, but she was very clear. She goes, there were multiple shooters. She goes, we were running, and she mentioned helicopters and that they were shooting coming from different directions. Like, she was really clear about it, that there were shootings coming from different. She thought it may have been coming from one of the helicopters, but definitely from different directions than that one place, because she's like, we were running from it and it wasn't getting away. It was coming at us from different angles.
That's crazy, dude. You remember how the coroner was like, "Oh, we can't show you the bodies." You're like, "You can't show us the autopsies." You're like, "Why?" Because they're going to show you that the gunfire was coming from different directions.
The top.
And then all these witnesses, just like JFK, started fucking dying. Oh, it's crazy, bro. And it's crazy that they would just slaughter a bunch of people to push a narrative.
Yeah, there was there's no Netflix documentary, no Hulu documentary. Usually they jump on this shit with these murders. They're like, oh, let's make a documentary. Let's make it an 8-part series. Nothing.
You can't. It's too sensitive. I mean, it's like, yeah, you can talk about serial killers and stuff until you talk about serial killers that are like connected to cults that are involved with the intelligence community. Like Program to Kill gets into that stuff. That's a great book. I'm not saying that everything in it is like factually 100% true, but the facts are there that lead you to the enough evidence that you start to wonder, are these guys involved with operations, right? Like actual. Okay, like let's say you're murdering. Let's say you're murdering people for adrenochrome, right? Or like some level of human sacrifice. What's the best fall person? Oh, we just got this serial killer, and the serial killer is going to take the fall. That was the story in Belgium. So I got Best Kept Secret, right? Best Kept Secret, a docuseries I did. One of the things we get into is the Dutroux case, Marc Dutroux, right?
Yeah.
Dutroux was the fall guy for an occult network, and this is why they couldn't bust him. I mean, literally, there were people saying that like this guy should be suspected, and girls died because the police didn't do a thorough investigation of him. But they were like basically caged up in his basement, and like they said like whatever, he was clean. They just dismissed him. So girls died as a result of this. But essentially, he was a fall guy for a network that, it's a complex, it's an ugly story, but that was basically they were trafficking pedophilia for young kids, mostly. I think it was mostly girls in that case, but probably boys too. And then when they were like killing them, they would have Dutroux, either they would have him kill them or they would turn him over. Basically, like he would take the fall. Like they would turn them over to him basically to have his way with them, and he would end up killing them. But essentially, he was intricately connected with that network. And I can't remember the name of his partner. It was a big fat guy that Anna K. Lucas, who has her own testimony and has written her own book about her experiences being trafficked into that network as a young girl.
Oh my God.
She also identified that man as one of the predators that like forced her in situations to like basically, I mean, have kids kill other kids when as part of the psychological manipulation to keep you quiet. right? So if you're part of networks, like one of the ways that they keep you from talking is they have you committing crimes. And that's why people go like, why won't people talk about it? Well, listen, if you're a kid and you've been raped and arrested and maybe you've been forced to like even kill another kid, are you going to go and talk and be like, yeah, I did this stuff? No, it's going to shut you up. So this is how they do it in a way, like to keep people quiet is to have everyone be so guilty.
Yeah, jump you into a gang.
Their mouth. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, you want to go down a rabbit hole? I'm gonna have Austin Picard come on. He just did Jake Shields discussion about this, but dude, the William Wayne Gacy, that thing's way more
John
than
Wayne Gacy.
John Wayne Casey. Sorry, Johnny. Thank you.
With the Democrat Party, right? I mean, that's the Daily Network.
Well, yeah, it gets into the Odyssey Network, and basically John Wayne Gacy was like the end of this trail they would send you through. Right. You would go through this network, and when you were either just too shish kebabbed or just aged out, send you to Gacy, and it was over. And it's crazy because the FBI shut all that down. His trial is literally, if you study the John Wayne Gacy trial, it's literally him and the prosecutor and defense arguing over whether he worked alone or not. It wasn't even whether he was guilty or not. It was whether he worked alone or not, because they didn't want to even get into it. It's like a really crazy case.
The first thing he said when he got busted, he mentioned another guy. He's like, "Oh, are you getting that guy too?" I mean, he literally was pointing to like his accomplices right away, and they didn't want to hear it. I mean, so much of this, that's why people, it's so corrupt. The system is so corrupt, and they want, either sometimes it's laziness, like, hey, it's just easier to make a case against one person.
Yeah.
But more likely, it's like there's a mixture of laziness and also like, hey, we can't go after this person because that person's connected to this person.
Yeah.
We got a phone call saying, don't go there. But I mean, again, you just don't know what's real. I mean, like the Boston Strangler story, right? Like more recently, we've seen books and the movie that came out called Boston Stranglers, basically saying like the whole Boston Strangler story, that guy basically was fed the story in prison, made money off of he basically like made money off of like his autobiography, or the lawyer did. And like, he basically he loved the glory of like being the Boston Strangler, but he was just reciting what he had been told. It was most likely he didn't kill anyone.
That is crazy.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Remember when that guy came forward about like he killed JonBenet Ramsey and he didn't, and he was just wanted the glory and the attention?
Yeah.
Crazy,
exactly.
Dude. Crazy.
And the JonBenet story, we also get into a best kept secret, and that I think you have to look at where she was the night before she died and the Christmas party of the guy. That's a weird one.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. They go to a Christmas party. They come back home. Then they get into argument, and that's when they say the kid hits her in the head. There's a whole, and then he eats her. Something about eating milk with pineapple. It's a whole thing because she didn't digest it. Yeah, it's so crazy because who was that? What party was it?
Yeah, you watch the Best Kept Secret series. We get into like the suspicion around whether or not the father was pimping, essentially, maybe in the mother too, because the mother consciously or unconsciously, some people think that she was herself a mind control victim, and basically like she would go into altered states. But the one is that the parents seem to have been involved with trafficking the daughter through these
pageants.
These pageants, right? It's almost like a way to advertise. And the guy, I can't remember his name, but he basically had the party that they went to the night before she died. There's a lot of suspicion around who he was. A lady came forward like within the months after JonBenet's death and basically alleged that as a child, that guy had basically preyed upon her when she was a kid. And so, like I said, we touch upon all this stuff in the Best Kept Secret because there's just weird networks around it, like the whole JonBenet thing. I mean, you think about who the father was. He was deeply connected to the military-industrial complex. But like none of the protocol was followed with this investigation. And even just like the way that the body was like haphazardly discovered in the house, it just the whole thing reeked.
And then there's that
inside
weird ass picture of JonBenet and Ghislaine Maxwell.
Oh yeah.
That's a weird ass picture.
That's the question. Is that Ghislaine? It looks like Ghislaine. but I don't know if we can't validate that it's Chilean. Right?
And how about that one girl in Europe that goes missing? That's a giant story, and all the suspects involved look like the Podestas and Ghislaine Maxwell. It's really fucking weird.
Podesta's a weird one, huh? Because
They're all
do you see
weird.
the emails that just came out of his where he was having contact with people about 0-point energy and anti-gravity research?
Yeah,
he was plugged into so much stuff that I find it fat. Because do you think that part of him was just fabricated? The part where he seemed genuinely inquisitive about UAP and I hate that we.
No,
call
I
him
mean
that,
like Hillary Clinton talked about Gilgamesh. I mean,
well, I have my doubts about that because that's one of those emails, right? That was like submitted as a tip to Epstein. That's in the Epstein files, right?
yeah,
That's
I get it. It's just
but
weird.
Her sacrificing chickens to Moloch. Right?
Yeah, I've heard dark shit about that woman, dude. Anyways,
Oh yeah, there's plenty about her.
Have you guys seen the Frazzle Drip video? Because I've talked to people that say they have, and they're pretty horrified by what
it's
what
so
contains.
dark. I mean, they're just. I don't even like talking about it. It makes me so sad.
Yeah, me too.
It makes me so sad that there's predators.
If it's
out
real, people need to see it. They need to know what they're dealing with, the evil
So-
that these people are.
so-
and they masquerade behind, their nice, their suits.
I think
and
it will
their,
get-
their VIP escorts and the attention and fame that they get. But I think one video like that would change the way we see reality.
See, I think they're going to release it, dude, and they're going to make us think they're going to tell us it's AI. I just think they're waiting till AI gets good enough, and they're going to be like, it's AI, dude. And then the idiot talking heads who are paid for are going to yell at everybody, oh, it's fucking AI, dude. It's fucking AI. And it's like Nick Fuentes now is like doing another flip flop, and now he's like defending TPUSA. And it's fine. You do whatever you want.
Oh, is he? Oh, I haven't seen
But
that.
he's like, yeah, they're going to come out the video of him with a clear shot, and everyone's going to yell, it's AI. That is I'm like, but you're like, we're going to yell about a video that nobody's seen that suddenly appears out of nowhere. Like, of course, yeah, because we know that's the game plan. But in the reverse of that, the real videos, they're going to try to convince you they're AI. It's like, that's a big part of pushing this out.
It's a chaotic future with AI.
It is a chaotic future, dude. It's a chaotic fucking future. Man, great episode, dude. You crushed it, Sean. It's
a lot, right?
Yeah, no, it's great, dude.
It's so much. Dude, yeah.
You fucking killed it, dude. That was fire, dude. That was fire episode, dude. One more time, tell us where they can find you.
SeanStone.info. That's the best place because that has my links to my books, my documentaries. People can find my social media, my direct contacts, and everything there.
Well, dude, you're crushing it. Really honored to have you back on. I know it's been a while, so we gotta make sure we do this more often. And when you're in LA, come to the studio. We'd love to have you in, dude. We'd love to have you in.
Let's do it.
Anytime, dude. Have a safe travels. Get back safely. You're an important person, so we're always glad you're on our side fighting the fight. And let's break down the episode. All right, what'd you guys think of the incredibly handsome Sean Stone? How much is he married? Do we know?
Handsome.
I know where you're going with it.
I mean, dude, that guy must imagine just if you bring your girlfriend and like he's there and he just starts talking about all
you're on
the
vacation in
shit.
Sardinia and he shows up. And
He just starts talking the way he talks. You're like, you're done.
Yeah.
You're like, don't fuck him all night. I don't want to wake up and you're coming home. Okay? I mean, dude, the guy's stunningly good.
Done it all, too. Done it all.
Well, I do find it very interesting that like a guy from Hollywood royalty is going into such murky waters of conspiracy. I find that very cool.
Yeah, I mean, it says a lot about his father, right? That he raised someone with an inquisitive mind that didn't become just Hollywood scum, Like,
yeah, I think it's very cool. Like he's talking about, I mean, like to go into the paranormal like he is really cool, dude. And that stuff that he was talking about with that mental facility, I forget who it was that texted me, dude. I forget who it was that texted me. But they're like, what if the mental facilities were for people like us that question everything? I go, I 100% believe that. A lot of it, dude. that they just put all the people like 100 flowers that China did. Hey man, for the next 100 days, say whatever you want, and then just round up everybody, throw us all mental facilities.
Maybe the Scientologists are right about psychology. You know,
Maybe, dude. You know, it's like if the FEMA camps are anything like the Holocaust camps, they got pools, they got bands, probably have some pickleboard. It'll be like Johnny's house. Johnny, what if they turn your mansion
Pickleboard?
your pickleball?
Pickleball.
I got you, Johnny. Thank you for cleaning that up, Johnny. What if they turn your huge mansion into a FEMA camp and we all got to live there?
How many could you fit in Johnny's mansion if you really wanted to? Sam?
Like what do you mean by fit by side by side?
I don't know, like if you were not
living comfortably.
Like if you were the owner of the concentration camp, how many would you comfortably fit in?
100 people.
100 people.
I'm not comfortable talking about concentration camps in my house. It's inappropriate.
Johnny's place is fire, dude. Fire.
What'd you call him?
We got
Pablo Escobar.
His new little nickname, Pablo Escobar.
Yeah, we
Johnny Escobar.
Johnny Escobar over here.
Paying less than we were before, which is crazy.
No, it is crazy you got that.
Yeah, it's the market's in the shitter right now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's never.
Everybody's
they just
leaving,
keep
yeah.
raising taxes. It's just going to get worse and worse. They're running everybody out.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I mean,
there's going to be 20 people here. It's going to be XG and a couple other fucking rich kids stuck here in California.
Don't forget the Mexicans. We're not going anywhere.
Yeah, you're not.
Yeah.
You're like, we're just going to put more family members in this one bedroom.
Yeah, the Mexicans.
As long as we can afford it.
Like how many Mexicans would have lived in Johnny's mansion?
It would literally be a fucking burial.
It's like a barrio.
Yeah.
It's like when you find an old civilization and you're like, what is all this for? All the Mexicans just come up from Mexico and move into LA.
Oh yeah, like his people are like Aztecs. They'll move into Johnny's house. Like, we built this great temple to the gods.
Hey, okay? So since we're calling him Johnny Escobar, can we put a hippo in that bitch?
Yeah, dude. There is room for a hippo.
There's
in the
room
backyard.
for a fucking hippo
in the backyard. Yeah.
In the backyard. Have you ever seen that?
Hippos are dangerous.
Have you ever seen the video where the alligator goes to bite the hippo? Dude, it is crazy. The alligator goes to bite the hippo, and the alligator's so stupid, he doesn't realize that the hippo opened its mouth, and it just shuts on the alligator, and the alligator's whole beak, or whatever that is, and just falls off.
It's a beak. Yeah, a beak. Right. Yeah. hey, actually, you know what I'm thinking, right? This video is not real.
Oh, it's definitely an AI video.
No, it's 100% real.
Okay, bro.
Okay. Shut up, Johnny.
So was that monkey taking a baseball bat to an alligator's head in the middle of the African jungle?
Hey guys, if you go to Sam Tripoli,
I think I found the video you're talking about.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I can't wait.
I found the AI video. Is it this one?
It's not an AI video.
Is it this one?
Oh, it's so. I feel so bad for the hippo. Yeah, this is it.
Johnny,
It's 100% fake.
You think this is fake?
I can tell already it's fake. I can already tell it's fake.
Look at this. Look at this. What an idiot this guy is.
It's
Boom,
the fakest
bro.
fake thing I've ever seen.
What? You think that's fake, dude?
What? He's got what?
That's Sam. If that's Sam shapeshifting, that's Sam when he's black. Go get Sam's TikTok. That's literally his
You don't
reaction
think that's
video.
real, Johnny? You piece of shit. All right, go to samtripoli.com. Going to be in Miami. Going to be in St. Petersburg. Going to be in Lawerence, Kansas. Going to be in Tulsa. Going to be in TrutherCon in Dallas. Going to be in Skankfest in New Orleans. Closing it out in Austin. I may be in Wichita as well. That might be coming up. Go to samtripoli.com. Get on my mailing list. Woo. It's very important. It's very important. Premium content's on fire, dude. Premium content is on fire. I had a really great discussion. I'm now bringing back Only Conspiracies, where I do interviews on it. So you're getting everything. Cash Daddies, talk about it. Come on, dude, talk about it, dude.
Cash Daddies is a podcast where we talk about saving for your future, investing in stocks. We get into some news, some financial news. And we also talk about the WNBA for a half hour every fucking week. Come join us.
Are you guys placing bets or just talking about it?
No, we just talk about it for love of the game.
Nice.
We love to watch Dykes play basketball. It's really a pleasure. And all the people who listen to the show love it too. That's Cash Daddies.
On YouTube, does it say like it's peaking right when you guys start talking about
it does.
WNBA?
Yeah, most popular
Does
part.
it bring all the boys to the yard?
Yes. That's right. Yeah, it's just a bunch of chicks that look like that.
Go down, Johnny.
Brittany
Chaos
Griner.
Twins. Hopefully, we'll do something with it today. I keep trying, dude. T-shirts, dude. New T-shirts should be going up. I talked to him yesterday. I gotta get that. I gotta get out some Francis Bacon.
Dude, we should wear this one if he comes on, the fittest fat earther. All three of us.
Yeah.
wearing it.
Oh, that'd be so funny.
all of us
dude.
wearing the shirt.
That'd be so funny, dude.
I'd do that.
$15 now, dude.
Dude, we're just.
That's
Giving them
stealing.
away.
That's
Just giving
stealing.
them
I'm
away.
making no money.
Take that down.
Oh, dude, look at that. Look at that. You can also get the 1000th episode shirt. Not just this one either. The cool one, too.
Only available till July 31st.
Grab them now. Grab your shirts now. We're just pushing product at this point. Go back. Gold and silver. Buy it. Get it. Wise Wolf Gold and Silver. Wolfpack Gold. Our good friends at Harley Ray. If you're looking for sage, candles, crystals, Acura Hydrogen Brown Gas, hydrogen keeps you young looking. Chemical Free Body. I love it. Take it every day. EMF rocks. Brain Supreme.
On.
He's on, dude. This
On,
guy
baby.
is tripping balls,
Tripping
dude.
right now.
Microdosing,
Nice.
a superstar, dude. And again, in Nuke Social, dude, get on Nuke Social. It's decentralized social media. You'll never have to worry about being shadow banned. You never have to be anything, and I need to do it more. Anything else?
I'm doing reaction videos like Sam told me. I'm reacting to cop interactions. So.
I love that,
Yeah,
dude.
that's
Thank
pretty
you for
good.
listening.
Yeah.
You should drop some Spanish in there. Go on.
Yeah, Broken Sim is out. Listen to it. It's we talk about whether Russia killed Lindsey Graham. Also, the hippo video is fake. I've confirmed it.
Johnny, you suck, dude. Guys,
I worry about you in the future.
I worry about you in the
'cause
future.
When they really start using AI to fake stuff,
Yeah.
you're gonna believe all of it. And
Johnny, I don't
worry.
believe any political stuff. I believe all animal stuff.
animal
okay?
stuff? Yeah, okay.
That's my rule right now. All animal stuff. Go to Word War Debate, everybody. Word War Debate. That's right. Very excited about this. Big news. We locked up our first debate. Can't tell you right now, but we locked that up. And we got some killer debates coming. And then finally, what is the other one? Did we have to talk about? Oh, our YouTube channel, guys. Could you please subscribe? We're trying to get over 60,000.
Can we bring cheerleaders to Word War Debate?
Yes.
Please? I would like
That's-
that.
They wanted ring girls. I'm like, we're not doing ring girls.
How's that a bad idea?
I want a ring girl.
Yeah.
Because it cheapens the show. You're going to piss off all the progressives.
So we're gonna do cheerleaders instead of ring girls.
How about the woman on panel just wears something a little skimpy? How about that?
Dude, I suggest that they go in fucking lingerie, and it got shut down.
The debaters or,
Yeah.
or the host?
Even the guys. The guys wear lingerie on this show. We got Victoria's Secrets. They
Only
want us-
trans. Only trans. Can
Only
be on the
trans.
show.
Only trans. What if we, do you think the leftists would be cool if we had trans cheerleaders?
That's the only way they'd be cool. Yeah.
But they're so on, you can't clock them. And we don't tell
like
them
the really
till
good
much later that they're trans.
Like main cheerleader, like the main
no,
one is,
like trans chick cheerleaders.
yeah, like Blair White. Well, you
Have we
can't
had
even
that
tell.
in
You
NFL?
can't tell. Like
Blair White.
no one
It's
knows.
like, and even if it is, you're like, that's kind of
Has
hot.
that come to the NFL?
Johnny laughs because he thinks that about Blair White. You
Yeah,
know, he
we all
laughs.
do.
I laugh because of what you just said.
You
and know
can't.
it.
You can't look at her and go. That's like remember Alex Jones. I look at you. You're a beautiful woman.
Yeah, he was so confused. Yeah.
So-
Has that happened in the NFL yet? Though? Has there been like a high tech trans?
No, but they
cheerleader?
love twinks.
They love twinks. Yeah, that's
They
weird,
just
right?
love twinks, dude. It's like insane.
They love them.
All right, guys. I mean, Sean Stone bringing the heat,
John Stone.
dude. See, you and Nitty want to go into this fucking hospital and see some shit, don't you?
Who's Nitty? What is Nitty?
He's one of my co-hosts on We Don't Smoke the Same.
You have
and
another
he's-
co-host?
Yeah, and he
didn't know
really
that.
wants to go to a Skinwalker Ranch. Like he's willing to pay for the rental and go, and then he knows Sam can get us in there. But it's this thing where like fuck around and find out. But I kind of want to fuck around and find out.
Yeah, but then you're gonna bring some shit back here.
Yeah, you're. Hey, look at this rock I found. It's just sitting here. It's
I just-
cool.
yeah.
Next thing you know, this fucking place is cursed.
You know, I would bring something that someone sends me. Take this to Tinfoil Hat Studios and just leave it right under Sam's right under Sam's chair. Okay.
Ridiculous, dude. All right, guys. Thanks for watching the show. Enjoy the highlights.
Sam Tripoli asked me to review this last night, so Swarm, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe. You guys already know we don't smoke the same.
Scumbags in the building. Let's get right into it, baby. This is going to be a good one. It's in Wayne County in Kentucky.
Officers in Wayne County, Kentucky respond to a shots fired call after a man attacks his own wife and son. What officers don't know is the man is satanic and attempting to summon the devil.
White people shit or not? Satanic panic? Bro, it's Kentucky. I got my money on this white people shit, dog.
Stay back! Sheriff's office!
One.
Stay back! Sheriff's office! Sheriff's office!
Bro, why do they always live in like the most rundown motherfucking houses, dude? Doesn't even have a door.
So you got any weapons or anything? Yeah. What's he got? A pistol?
The suspect's son informs officers that his father could be armed. He'll also soon reveal that he shot his own father during the altercation that started all this.
Scumbag. Who shoots their fucking dad, dog? Who shoots their fucking dad? Scumbag shit. Don't forget, this is brought to you by Scumbags in the building.
What? Fuß. Sitz. Platz. Somebody come up.
Is talking to its dog like sit and fucking lay and...
Me. Stay behind me. Sheriff's office with a canine! Come on, you're gonna be bit! Sheriff's office with a canine! Come on, you're gonna be bit! Sheriff's office with a canine! Come on, you're gonna be bit! Find me. Go find a man. Go find a man. Stay back in case she comes back out here, Jerry. Nunya, find a man!
Nunya? That's her name of the dog? Nunya business, dog? Where's your dog? You gotta fire this dog. You keep just looking for your dog, can't find the man. It's a fucking small one bedroom house. How can you not find the man?
He's got a door shut.
Oh, never mind.
Nunya, Foos! Nunya, Foos! Come here, Nunya! Nunya, come here! Nunya, come here! Foos!
Bro, bad dog. Bad dog, dog. He keeps calling Foos, which I guess means heel, and come back, and the dog's just nowhere to be seen, dog. And I guarantee you that it's not gonna have that man.
Foos! Should go outside. Check her on back. Nunya, here! Foos! Here. Platz. Come here, Platz. Can't get run out back, has he? Somebody needs to watch the back.
Dude, these cops are rookies, dude. They just stopped. They went to go find the dog instead of take care of the armed man inside the house. If the dog's gone, it's gone. If it left the fucking house, it left the fucking house. Nunya, that's what the dog's saying. None of your business what I'm doing.
Show me your head! Show me your head! Show me your head!
Watch out! Move back! Move back, Jerry! Jerry, move back! Jerry, move!
Oh, he's in the line of fire. This fool's got to move back. That fat guy named Jerry. Move out the way, homie. Dude, where? Dude, look at this house. Like, they got curtains. Dude, Kentucky is low income.
Walk down now! Jerry, move!
Oh, this fool came out butt naked.
No! Come out! Are you gonna get dog bit? Come out now! You're gonna be bit! Get the man, man. Get on the fucking ground! Get on the ground! Look at here. Look.
Dude, the dog biting this was not even flinching, right?
Look at it.
Oh, this fool just got tasered. Satanic panic. He might be possessed, dude. Every time I see someone get tasered and they're just taking it, I'm not saying everyone's possessed, but dude, you gotta be on a sick one.
Look at it! Turn that taser off. Turn it off. Look at it. Get it.
Look at it.
Get up, Get off the fucking dog!
Dude, did he just attack the dog? Usually it's get off of me and trying to get the dog off of someone. This fool, and now they're trying to get him off the dog. What is going on?
Get off! Hook the fucking dog! Get off my fucking dog! Get off my fucking dog!
What is this fool doing to the dog?
Get back! No! Get in the house! Get
come the neighbors. There's got to be the neighbors. Or it could be the son that just shot his own dad. Fuck.
My fucking dog.
Put your hands behind your back! Put your hands behind your back! Put your hands behind your back!
Oh, they're manhandling this fool's butt naked, I bet. Dick all out, just slanging dick, dog, just slanging in it. Dude, what? I've always said I feel bad for cops. Sometimes they got to deal with some shit where you're like, what the fuck is going on? Do you think any of these guys want to touch a homeless, naked person? I don't think this fool's got a house, but he's probably gross. When's the last time this fool took a shower?
Let me get her out. No, Daniel. 9.
9? What is that? What are they, dude? Is this like German? Is this a German Shepherd? Obviously, you gotta speak to it in German. Nanya, 9. What was the heel one? I don't know.
In the car. Good girl. Good girl.
Not a good girl. She fucking left the fucking house. She literally ran away for a couple minutes. You guys had to go get her and literally unattended the man that had a firearm on it.
Can we not bring him outside? We have any idea who he is? I have no clue. Where's he shot at?
The only blood I see that's dried is on his leg. There's a spot back here.
What about his butt back there? Can y'all get his shoulders and stuff?
Here's a clip from the latest Broken Sim.
You know, they're saying that. So, but this Lindsey Graham thing's really crazy because now there's a conspiracy about how he died and when he died.
That's what I want to talk about. Yeah. So he was in Ukraine, and they say that the night before he came back, he was supposedly came back. If he came back at all, is what he was at a drone factory where they build these drones in Kyiv that was struck by the Russians. Now, some people think maybe he never even left that drone factory, and everything after that was manufactured.
So the whole thing is like, okay, the official story, which right there, you start with the official story, and now you're like, okay, you know something's up. The official story is they had a heart attack in his house.
In his house. Yeah.
Okay, Dana, what's the official story?
Oh, God.
Okay, she's saying he didn't have a heart attack. His aorta lining, which is a heart, right?
Yes, it goes to your heart. Yeah, it's all the blood to your...
Is it in the heart?
It's the same thing that got John Ritter. It's the aortic dissection. It's where the aorta splits off. It's
okay. So it's a heart attack adjacent. Can we say that?
It's very rare. It's
very rare. So the whole discussion is, and we don't need a peanut gallery to comment on everything. Daddy's cooking right now.
And they said we should say it was caused by vascular disease, is what they said. So yeah.
Okay.
Like
so
heart problems.
That's what they're saying, right? But the question becomes, if he had no wife, he had no kids, he was living alone, who knew he had a heart attack?
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah. I mean, he seems like a fella who might entertain.
That might be like, hey, dude, we haven't heard from Ladybug in a while. Someone go to his house, see how he's doing.
Yeah, he hasn't checked in.
And he's just dead on the floor, butthole out, just dead.
He hasn't checked in on the IDF Discord.
Yeah, Grinder's like, traffic's down. Where's Lindsey Graham? Do you see how Grinder's like literally Grinder's stock went down?
Really? Oh, that's funny. Yeah.
So anyways, so everyone's like, how would anyone know? So this ex-CIA guy, take that for what you will, broke down the timeline. They say it's impossible for that to be the truth. So the new conspiracy is, well, there's two conspiracies. Our good friends at the Big Eye. You know what I'm talking about, the Big Eye?
I do. Heard of it, yeah.
Okay. They had something to do with it to pull Trump in. I don't necessarily agree with that because he was one of their biggest supporters. They kind of need him. The other one is that he...
to make him think that Iran did it?
Yeah, okay. That's what they're saying. But now the one is, it sounds more to me, is that he got taken out during that Russian drone attack on the drone factory.
And I'll just show you what I'm talking about here. This is being reported widely, but here's some photos.
Gangnam Style.
Lindsey Graham arrived in Kyiv on Friday, July 10, likely in the evening. The following day, his birthday,
His birthday. This is how he spent his birthday.
Oh my God, dude! What if he died on his birthday? That's kind of cool.
Yeah, wrap it up, man. Wrap it up.
Wrap it up. We gotta we got binders. Bang, dude.
The following day, his birthday, he visited Zelensky, who wished him a happy birthday.
Hi, Zelensky. So excited to be here. So excited.
You look so great, baby.
Baby, look at you.
Your sweaters are so nice.
I do like the way you dress.
I don't care what Donald says about you not wearing a suit and tie.
I think you look good.
You're a tidy boy. He later visited the Skyfall drone facility. That's a Ukrainian/EU/US drone manufacturing plant. He was also given a separate presentation on the capabilities of the Skyfall Academy. I mean, it's literally out of James Bond, which trains pilots, technicians, and instructors to work with unmanned systems. The visit included a tour of production facilities, drone demos, vampire bombers.
We get it.
Graham was quoted praising the tech and calling for
tech
US.
Is so fierce. It's so fierce.
This tech makes me so hard. My
it's
nipples.
so just look at this thing. Look at he's holding one of the drones. Looks like a
baby. Do you want to steal my nipples?
Take a picture of me with this hot drone.
It occurred on the same day as other meetings. It's possible that Graham also had other classified or unpublicized stops. Officially, after this busy schedule on his birthday, Graham quickly left Ukraine at some time yesterday.
Yeah,
on a plane, flew to DC,
got home conveniently and died conveniently.
And dropped dead at 8:30.
Yeah, perfect timing. The Reaper's like, I'm just gonna listen. I'm still waiting on Mitch McConnell. I'll wait till this guy gets home.
Yeah. Here's someone who put it.
Look at this.
Look at him holding that BBC.
Look at it. I bet you I could sit on this.
He's like, can I take one of these home? No reason.
Yeah. Can I smuggle this?
And then there was a report. The Ministry of Defense says that drone production enterprises were hit in Kyiv. So that's a hell of a coincidence, don't you think? That was news that came out of Moscow.
Yeah, I mean, it's so hilarious. It just the place he was at just got bombed, and then he conveniently dies.
Yeah. Yes. Well, and then he also much of what he talked about was Russia reinstating many of the sanctions against Russia, and he thought that they were getting that over the finish line. And then he had this quote here. I don't know if this is from that meeting, but here you go.
Free or die.
Free or die.
Now you are free.
Yes.
And we will be.
And the Russians are down.
It's the best money we've ever spent. Thank you so much.
Like, is this guy the biggest? Was this guy the biggest piece of shit? This is why when people on the internet were like, "Dude, show some respect." He passed. The guy was a neocon warhawk.
I struggle with that because I don't think you should celebrate anyone's death, but it's like,
no, dude.
This guy was.
You don't want to celebrate Stalin's death? You're like, come on, man. His kids.
No, it's not about anybody else. It's about the effect it has on you as a human.
I feel great, dude. When I said, yeah, he's dead, my nipples got instantly hard.
Yeah,
they were vibrating.
I don't know. Something in my soul tells me that it's not good to do that.
Yeah,
but
you're why we can't have nice things, Johnny, because everyone brings emotion.
No, again, I wouldn't say that. I would never say that to anybody except for me and you talking about it. And I would never. What is she?
Okay. I don't even read that. I'm getting fact checked by somebody watching the home run derby, which is behind. I already know.
So Lindsey Graham is no longer with us, and I'm not feeling bad about it, honestly.
I'm celebrating it.
No, he really is a kind of a Game of Thrones villain, though. You know, like this
100%, dude. House Power Bottom.
Yeah.
Lindsey Graham from House Power Bottoms here. Good day, Queen. Yes.
He really is, though, you know, just a closeted gay guy who is.
Sir Ladybug is here. Hello.
Operating in the shadows, you know, pretending to be something he's not. And while he is.
I just can't stop pounding puss, man. I'm just out here just pounding that puss.
Just a nasty.
Everyone in Ukraine is getting pregnant tonight. Am I right, Zelensky? Give me some of that cocaine.
Just a nasty, violent man, you know, with no. And the people in South Carolina that I talked to, many of them loved him. I'll never understand it, but he was a.
It's the same scumbags. It's the same scumbags. It's the same scumbags that talking about Epsteinism, Mossad. The same scumbags who are like, I saw a 4K IMAX Dolby Digital sound video of Tyler Robinson doing it. I could see his nose hairs breathing. It was that clear. And the same people like Lindsey Graham was a patriot. It's like F you. My favorite part of Twitter was people trying to guesstimate how many pineapples are being shoved up his ass right now in hell.
If you'd like to hear the rest of this episode, subscribe to Broken Simulation in your podcasting app or check us out at youtube.com/Sam Tripoli.
Go deep, homeboy. Aaron, open your mind. Drink from the fountain of knowledge. There's lizard people everywhere. That's some interdimensional shit. Wake up, Aaron.
This is only the beginning.
Dude, you just blew my mind.
Tinfoil hat.